wife just turned 30, and she's always been someone who cared about her fitness. Toned, disciplined, the whole deal. Lately, though, that dedication has morphed into something else entirely. Something that feels less like a healthy habit and more like a possession. It's like watching a familiar landscape slowly get swallowed by a rising, obsessive tide. Back in her college days, she was a regular at the campus fitness center. Life got busy, as it does, and for years she preferred home workouts or jogs around our neighborhood. It was normal, balanced. Then, about a year and a half ago, she announced she was rejoining a gym. Her new job had more flexible hours, she said. At first, it was a few days a week. Then it became a daily pilgrimage. Soon, she was adding weekend classes, both Saturday and Sunday. The routine escalated, a brutal session before the sun was fully up, and then, as if the morning hadn't happened, another one after work, every single day. Stressful day at the office? Gym. A disagreement with a friend? Gym. We'd have a fight, and instead of talking it out, she'd grab her duffel bag and disappear into the night. The gym became her universal answer, her escape pod. Here's the real kicker. She's 4 months pregnant. Honestly, I'm a little amazed we found the time to conceive. I know exercising while pregnant is generally safe, especially for someone who was active beforehand. But she hasn't dialed back the intensity one bit. Not a single notch. If she misses one of her self-imposed sessions, her mood plummets. She gets jittery and irritable, like an addict in withdrawal. It's unsettling to witness. The phrase, too much of a good thing, doesn't even begin to cover it. Naturally, she gets defensive when I voice my concern. I tell her it feels like an unhealthy obsession, that I miss my wife, that our shared time has been sacrificed at the altar of the squat rack. She's built a whole separate world there, a circle of friends she seems to prefer over me. Why don't I just join her, you might ask? Oh, I've tried, repeatedly. The gym is my me time, she says, a firm boundary drawn in the rubber mat flooring. And let's clear something up. This isn't about insecurity over fitness levels. My job mandates I stay in shape, and I do. This is about something much deeper. I'm convinced her habit is pathological. She's over-exercising, for one. Yes, that's a real medical concern. But more than that, I see it as a massive avoidance mechanism. Life throws a problem her way, don't solve it, outrun it. She uses the endorphin rush as an emotional band-aid, a quick fix that leaves the real wound festering. Practically, it means nothing else gets done. The chores, the groceries, the cooking, it all falls to me. I'm not asking for a 1950s housewife. I'm asking for a partner, a shared effort. Even people in our social circle have started to notice. They make offhand comments like, "She sure loves that gym," or "We never see her anymore." Their tone has shifted from observation to concern. A few have even whispered the ugly question, "Do you think she's having an affair?" Tell me this doesn't sound normal, please, because she insists with absolute conviction that it is. First update, the crack in the foundation. I posted recently about my wife's gym compulsion. It's only gotten worse. Her free time is monopolized by that place. Twice a day is standard, 3 times if we have a late-night blow-up and she needs to flee the battlefield instead of facing the issue. She has her gym, I have mine. Never the twain shall meet, by her decree. I've lost count of how many times I've invited her to mine. It's a firm no. She's around 18 weeks along now, our first baby. She worked out relentlessly before the pregnancy and is pushing just as hard now.
The cheating theory, I used to laugh it off. She comes home exhausted. She's in phenomenal shape. Of course she's been at the gym. I was confident, arrogantly so. Then I read the comments on my last post. A seed of doubt was planted, ugly and gnawing. The other day she left her phone on the kitchen counter. Feeling a mix of shame and desperation, I snatched it up. There was an active text thread with a name I recognized, a guy from the gym she mentioned often, part of that social circle, someone whose wedding she attended last fall. My heart turned to lead. I scrolled. And there it was. I now know, against my will, intimate details about this man's anatomy I never wanted to know. She was only gone a minute. I confronted her the second she walked back in. The explosion was instantaneous. She raged at me for violating her privacy. I shouted back about her bizarre behavior, my worry, how looking felt disgusting, but finding that was a nightmare. "It's nothing!" she screamed. It didn't look like nothing. I demanded to know if she was sleeping with him. She denied it. A red haze descended. I slammed her phone onto the tile floor, shattering it. She called me every name in the book, and in a flash of fury, she hauled off and punched me in the back as hard as she could. I just walked out, drove to my brother's place. My sister-in-law, who'd been warning me for months, just looked at me with grim, sad eyes. I went home later. She was in bed, crying. A performance, I thought. "I didn't know if you were ever coming back," she sobbed. Give me a break. I still felt like a jerk for breaking her phone, so I took it to get repaired the next day. A stupid, chivalrous gesture in a war she started. The truth is, I still don't know the depth of it. She's admitted to nothing beyond what I saw. Was it just sexting? I'm convinced it was more. Now she's trying to flip the script, painting me as the abusive monster for destroying her property. I've never laid a hand on her, though in that moment, after her punch, I wanted to. God, I wanted to. Second update. The confession. She asked me to stay home from work to talk. The day before, she'd lain in bed, a portrait of misery, but I'd gone to a family gathering just to escape the suffocating atmosphere. It infuriated her. "Who does that?" she texted. "Who's that cold?" So we talked. Through a river of tears, she confessed. She claimed the double-day gym sessions were initially genuine. She loved the community, the endorphins. Then she met him, the popular one, the charismatic one. He flirted. She flirted back. It felt like a teenage crush, she said. All butterflies and giddy texts. For months it was just friends, she swore, but the line, that fragile boundary, dissolved with a kiss. Then, not long after, she slept with him for the first time. She described it as being swept away, like first love. She didn't know if she loved him. She didn't know why she did it. Then came the question that shattered any remaining illusion. Is the baby mine? She thinks so. There's a small chance it could be his. He used protection, she said, but the timeline overlapped. She loves me, she claims, but she can't deny this spark with him. She's a maelstrom of I don't knows. The final breathtaking blow. "You'd really leave me if it's not your baby, wouldn't you?" The audacity! I told her yes, absolutely. I would not raise another man's child. She seemed genuinely shocked. "With all our history," she whispered. The disconnect was absolute. She agreed, tearfully, to a DNA test. As if I should pity her for that. The unraveling. She moved in with him a few weeks later. Most of her stuff is still here, gathering dust in what was our home. She texted me the news, probably hoping for a reaction, a plea to return. I gave her silence. The numbness is punctuated by spikes of rage and profound sadness. I found out through a text that her new boyfriend was the one who pushed for the paternity test. Suddenly, it was a good idea. I submitted my sample, feeling like a character in a degrading reality show.
The results came on a random Tuesday morning. I am the father. The relief was instant, profound, followed immediately by a crushing wave of complicated grief. This child, wanted and loved, will enter a world fractured by its mother's choices. She's still with him. She texts me baby name ideas, as if we're co-parenting friends. She came by to get some things and had the gall to bring him into our house. He had the nerve to say he understands my pain, that he loves her, promises not to overstep with my child. The sheer, unadulterated gall. I told him to get out. He didn't move fast enough. I won't detail what happened next, but let's just say he won't be forgetting his visit. She rushed to his side, of course. Later, she texted that he's a good guy who respects me. The cognitive dissonance is staggering. The latest chapter. She's about 26 weeks along now. The drama has settled into a cold, bureaucratic stalemate, punctuated by new absurdities. We fought about the delivery room. I insisted I be there for my child's birth. She agreed at first, then, after presumably discussing it with him, changed her tune. It's my birth, she said. I decide. So now I'm fighting for the right to witness my own child's entrance into the world. We're discussing the divorce mechanics. She says I can have the house and our dog. I've told my lawyer I want the house sold. I won't buy out her share in a home filled with ghosts. And the dog? He was always mine. He's more loyal than she ever was. I'm setting up a nursery here, anyway. It's a strange, lonely project. I can choose any theme I want. A small, bitter taste of freedom. I got a promotion. A bright spot in a dark time. My entire life is now framed by one question. How will this affect the divorce? Sometimes, in my weaker moments, I check their social media. I'm not proud of it. Let's just say if his new business venture ever launches, it might be hit with a mysterious wave of skeptical online reviews. A man has to find his small amusements where he can. Her sister recently reached out to me. Apparently, my wife is complaining about her new paradise. The sex is selfish. He doesn't warm up her car on frosty mornings or make her food when she's tired. He doesn't speak her love language. She's discovering that the thrilling escape has a mundane, disappointing address. And while I know it's petty, hearing that she might be unhappy, it brings a very dark and very quiet sense of satisfaction. By the way, if stories of human complexity and personal earthquakes like this one hook you, you might want to hit that subscribe button. The next chapter in this saga is always just around the corner. So what do you think drives a person to trade a solid, if imperfect life for such chaotic, self-destructive chaos? Is it fear, a hunger for novelty, or something deeper? I'm still trying to figure it out. Drop your theories in the comments below. Disclaimer. This story is based on a true personal account, but names, locations, identifying details, and some circumstantial events have been changed for privacy and narrative flow. All characters and specific scenarios are fictionalized representations.